Week after week, we come out here and we beat everybody in the building.
We're going to settle this once and for all. Finally, management gives me the shot that I've been deserving for well over 2 or 3 years now. At the big bunkhouse. Son, you better lace them up tight, because I'm taking you to school.
There you have it from Chris Thunder Anderson.
Chris believed in Carney and kayfabe and protecting the business at all costs. Laying it in on a greenhorn to teach him a lesson, paying your dues.
Chris Thunder Anderson was old school. He was intense inside the ring, and most importantly, he was believable. The moment Chris walked through the curtain and got in the ring, the people believed in what Chris Thunder Anderson was doing.
Chris, to many people, was known as the big scary bad man that with one look could bring children to tears.
There ain't nobody that likes a street fight better than me. There ain't nobody that does it better than me. So if I have to bust you up and bust you all over the place, then by gosh, I will.
But that's not the Chris that I knew. The Chris that I knew, the only thing bigger than his personality was his heart.
To me, Chris wasn't just somebody who was in wrestling. Chris was the epitome of it. For the Carolinas, I think Chris meant more than anybody could ever imagine.
Chris Thunder Anderson, he was born 20 years too late. Chris Thunder Anderson was an ideal competitor in the territories. Chris was a show up and be the bad guy and do a 6 to 8 month program and head off to the next territory.
There'll never be another one like Chris.
He was a brother. He was a friend.
Chris did not care about selling t-shirts or being popular on social media. He did there to do his job, and that was to get over as the bad guy and to be hated.
In this world of professional wrestling, you have all kinds of people, but you've got those special people, the ones that go above and beyond to help the younger guys in the locker room, to help the promoter, to help the promotion. And without a doubt, when I'm sitting back and I'm thinking of the handful of people, Chris Thunder Anderson is probably the top guy.
You want old school? Now you got it.
And around the year 2000 is when I met Chris Thunder Anderson. Literally, my first day in the locker room, took his arm, put it around me, said, "Come on, kid, let me show you how this works."
For 17 years, Chris was always somebody that I could call and get advice and shoot ideas by. And if it was something that didn't work, Chris would sit with you and try to find a way to make it work.
And I want you guys to know what Chris Thunder Anderson gave me. What he gave me, you can't buy, you can't steal, you can't borrow. He gave me aggression. He taught me how to be aggressive. And he instilled in me a toughness.
Everybody asks me, why is everybody so scared to work with Nick Fury now? Because he'll beat the tar out of you if you mess up. Well, boys, I'm one of the reasons why he's that way.
Chris always had time for somebody starting out, but Chris always had time for somebody that's done it just as long, if not longer, for him.
I hope that the greenhorns that had a chance to sit with him under his learning tree learned something, because there's a lot of valuable information that's no longer with us.
Chris Thunder Anderson was 100% total professional inside the ring and outside the ring, and I know for a fact he was my go-to guy. Advice, anything I needed. Chris Thunder Anderson was the one I could count on.
I still can't believe we lost you. The wars we had on the inside of the ring and the brotherhood we had on the outside.
We fought wars in that ring, but no matter how hard we hit each other, I knew that if the chips were down, no matter what I needed, that I could always call on Chris.
At a wrestling show, Chris Thunder Anderson was the bad guy everybody loved to hate. And then in the locker room, he was the greatest guy you ever meet. I mean, smile. He loved Jesus. He loved his family, his wife, his kids.
Thunder, man, what a great big man. His heart was as big as he was. And the most important thing is I knew that Thunder loved the Lord. He wasn't ashamed of his relationship with Jesus.
What's the greatest thing I could say about the man? So I thought, I could say he was a great worker. He was a great friend. He was a great father to those children. He was a great husband to Missy. I could say all those things because they're true. He was great at all those. But I think the greatest thing I could probably say about Chris is that he loved the Lord.
You were one of a kind, brother. I'm going to miss you.
I don't know how I personally am ever going to fill that void of finding someone like Chris, because he wasn't just a great in-ring performer. He wasn't just a fountain of knowledge. He was an amazing human being.
Thunder, we'll be seeing you soon, buddy. I know that you're happy. I know that you're more alive now than you've ever been in your life, and you're seeing Jesus face to face. And I just praise the Lord for that.
The only thing I can figure is somebody up here, they needed an enforcer in their territory. They're running up in heaven, and they called Chris home. See you on the other side, brother.
I'm going to miss Chris a lot. He's going to be missed by a lot of people, and I'm always going to remember Chris Thunder Anderson as evil, mean, and nasty.
Hey, I love you, brother. I'll see you again one day. And that's the assurance that I have. Right, George? As long as you've got that assurance, you ain't got to worry about nothing. I thank the Lord I've got it. I love you, and I love you, and I love APW. Thank you all.